Welcome to the SciFi Pubcast. Come for a drink, but stay for the speculation. We totally have to get this off our chest. We're talking about the Alien franchise. Mark Lemke, one of our loyal, longtime customers, joins us. And it's a great conversation. So engineer your own drink and strap yourself in. Watch out for facehuggers, though. This is the SciFi Pubcast. Greetings, welcome to the SciFi Pubcast, the podcast that tries to be a pub, and perhaps someday a pub that tries to be a podcast. And as always, we are looking for customers, so if you want to visit our bar, please reach out to us. You want to be on a podcast? We're open for business, doesn't cost you anything, just be passionate about something loosely related to science fiction, and let's have a conversation. So hit us up on social media or email us at management@scifipubcast.space for further information. My name's Joel, and I'm the owner of this fine establishment, and I'm looking around, and we have a few people at the bar today. And, of course, the staff members. I see Carrie. Hi, Carrie.
Hey, Joel.
Carrie Simpson. And then, of course, is that Derek in the back in the kitchen?
Affirmative.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Why did we let him out of the kitchen?
I don't know. I really do not know sometimes. But hey,
I'm gonna blame my impending illness on him.
Yeah,
because I'm sure one of his experiments back there got out of hand and got out to the main part of the bar.
Yeah, it's talking about biological weapons because we're talking about I don't know, aliens, seriously. But moving on. Oh, we have a customer. My God.
What?
We have a customer, and this
guy. I
don't
know what to do now.
Quick, Derek, hide all the food.
And hi, Mark.
Hey, how's it going? Don't worry, I can pop my own popcorn.
Great, excellent. Hey, Mark, how do you pronounce your last name? Lemke? Lemke?
Yeah, it's Lemke.
Okay.
Yeah. Or in German class, it's Lemke, but it's been Americanized.
Okay, fair enough. It's great to talk to you. You reached out to us to want to talk about the whole Alien franchise, and you're a longtime listener. So we actually have one listener to the show. You're it.
It's no longer a passion project for you. So I'm happy.
Yeah, now I'm going to try to monetize it and sell the rights to Netflix. But one thing at a time.
Hey, as long as I can get a producer credit.
Absolutely.
Ooh. I don't know that we can afford that, Joel.
We'll talk about this. Life is about opportunities. So let's see. Looking around, I'm slightly hungover because we're recording on a Sunday afternoon, and I was at this big, large Irish pub in downtown Ottawa at the market called the Heart and Crown, visiting some friends who got their kitchen passes, so to speak, and were let out to play. So I'm struggling, but it's still good to be at the SciFi Pubcast. Carrie, how's your day been?
Not bad. I've been doing some homework for another podcast I'm on this morning, and I'm trying to not get sick. I'm going to be needing more coffee after we're done here.
Yes, it's the season for sickness and all that fun stuff. And okay. It's this point in the show where I asked Derek, hi, Derek.
Hi.
Derek, how's the kitchen doing?
It's great. Today's special, I'm calling the chest burster. It's food that's guaranteed to rip its way out of your body.
Oh, God.
Wow.
You can see projectile vomit right there.
Yeah, weren't they?
Is it the special from the end of Spaceballs, right?
No, I didn't cook it or anything. I just got Taco Bell, and I'm going to serve that to people.
Oh, well, at least we know it's semi-edible this time.
Oh, God. Uh-huh. And, of course, we have Mark. Mark, welcome to the show, so to speak. I understand you've been on a couple podcasts before?
I have been on a couple podcasts, mostly talking about Batman, and then somehow they usually end up talking about soccer or hockey. So that's about what I'm into. So
soccer and hockey, that's great. Well, I know we're friends on Facebook. I've been following you on Twitter for the last couple of years. You've been a long-time listener of several other networks, such as One Nerd's Attack when it was still around, and Random Chatter, all that. Can you just tell us about yourself briefly? What makes Mark Mark?
What makes Mark? Giving Derek therapy advice on the Slack channel is
Lord knows I need it.
Is what I mostly do.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Mark.
It's fun. Or we bond on our love of Mr. Robot, which is a great show, by the way.
Which may or may not be science fiction. We're still waiting to find out.
Yes, if there's time. Yeah, good point. Well, I live in Asheville, North Carolina, which is Beer City, USA. I don't care what Portland says. I'm a therapist. I mainly do mental health and substance abuse, and in a more like trauma-informed care model. I love movies, music, sports. Love soccer. Love hockey. Been to Canada a bunch of times. My three of my nieces were born in Vancouver, so that's a little fun fact. Got some strong ties to Canada. So
Mark, yeah, you lost me at beer. You said beer, and then I tuned out.
Oh yeah, Beer's amazing, and I am drinking a longleaf IPA from the amazing Boone, North Carolina, from Appalachian Mountain Brewery.
Oh, nice! Wow. Just to let our listeners know, I'm currently living in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. We have Derek, who lives someplace in the high mountains of Pennsylvania. Right, Derek?
Oh, it's not that mountainous, but sure.
Okay.
Hey, technically they're the same mountains that I live in. So.
There we go. And
it's like that song in An American Tale, "We're under the same moon and sky."
Oh, dear
God. And of course, we have Carrie, who's in Burbank, California. So, and going back to the whole beer, so as part of the SciFi Pubcast's little endeavor to be more restaurant oriented as well as conversation oriented, our beer recommendation for today, because I sacrifice, I care about what I do for a living and the show, so I have to go out and I have to drink all these craft beer just to tell you guys all about that. And today, our brief little recommendation is by the brewery Whitewater Brewing Company, which is located just outside of Ottawa in a place called Foresters Falls. And I highly recommend the Farmer's Daughter Blonde Ale. It's 5% alcohol and has an IBU rating of 22 out of 100. So yes, Whitewater Brewing Company, and it has this. It's a yellow white can. It has this blonde woman on a horse wearing a cowboy hat. So the fond memories. So highly recommend that. Moving on, and by the way, if you guys have any beer recommendations, please out with it. Shout it out. At any time. So
I could
like
do a whole
beer.
podcast series on alcohol.
I like that. We are going to do a food and wine show, like a food and drink show with Randall Graham eventually. He's really on it. We have to get time. We have to prepare. We have to cook. And I'm trying to teach myself to cook right now. It's challenging, but
and we have to make sure Derek stays away from the kitchen.
Yes, but that's going to happening soon, and we'll invite everyone because this is how this podcast functions. But
nice.
Enough of the introduction stuff. Let's talk about what we're talking about on this episode, which is an Alien franchise. We really need to get that off our chest, don't we?
I suppose so.
Yes. So let's start this way. Mark, you suggested the Alien franchise as a topic. Why are you so passionate about the Alien franchise?
Well, to give a little context, I grew up near Chicago, and there's this channel called UPN Power 50. So if there's any listeners from like Illinois or Northwest Indiana, you know what I'm talking about. And on there was always like the TV version of Aliens was always on. And I'd always had wanted to be in the Marine Corps, which I eventually then did join back in 2004. So like, the Colonial Marines thing really caught my young attention. But I just remember my dad saying, like, oh yeah, that's like just the second movie in the whole, in everything. There's a third and there's a first movie called Alien. And he, my parents didn't really let me watch rated R movies, but my dad let me watch Alien because he liked it a lot. And
it scarred you for life, didn't it?
it excited me for life. It scarred me for life. Absolutely. And I have to say, but I think the xenomorph is about the only thing that legitimately scares me anymore. Like I find it completely unnerving. I mean, and that goes all the way back to H.R. Geiger's art. Just something very unnerving, and I think it's very hard to unnerve me unless it's the movie Hereditary. But no, it started back in the early 90s and being able to watch it on TV. And then when I finally was able to watch Aliens, and then, which I think is still, I think on my flick chart in the top 4 movies. So it's just something I'm passionate about. I love Alien 3 too. I think it's really, has actually aged pretty well in my opinion, but it goes just beyond the movies. I mean, I'm obsessed with the xenomorph and I kind of like what Ridley Scott has done with Prometheus and Covenant and trying to explain, the facetious synthetic David and his lust for creation, if you want to call it that, it's just a fascinating, and I think it's just an underused canon mythology that could be further explored, and unless Disney ruins everything. So she's a Disney. I can talk about that another day, but from comics to statues to H.R. Geiger's books, on which makes great coffee table material for family visiting. I consume Alien in any possible way I can.
That's amazing. And
I forgot that Disney bought Fox, so the Alien Queen is now a Disney princess.
Yep.
Those are fighting words, buddy.
Oh, wow. So I've saw the Alien franchise, except for the 4th one, Alien Resurrection, which I don't remember if I saw that or not. I think, Derek, you saw most of them as well, right?
Oh, I've seen them all.
Yeah. And
I love Aliens.
And which is really interesting, Carrie.
Yes.
Have you seen any of these Alien movies?
I have seen bits and pieces of Alien Resurrection, mostly because it was on Sci-Fi, and Ron Perlman is, I will watch Ron Perlman in almost anything. And other than that, my only familiarity with Aliens is the end of Spaceballs, which freaked me the fuck out in that capacity. So much that I'm not very big into horror movies, to be honest. So, I'm familiar with the art. I did see eventually the, I guess, alien stepchild of the xenomorph as in species, but that's pretty much it.
So, Carrie, just through pure cultural osmosis, what do you know happens in Alien and Aliens?
I know a lot of people die. And I know Ridley eventually dies a couple of times. That's kind of it.
Hey, Tywin Lannister is in Alien 3, if anyone, needs to know.
Charles Dance?
Yeah. That
he's
explains
the doctor
so much.
Hooks up with.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
That explains so much.
Wow. Carrie, I feel sorry for you because I used to be a fan of horror films when I was a teenager, but as soon as I hit my 20s, I kind of got out of that stage and never got back. So I can't say the Alien franchise is my favorite franchise by any means, but I think it's very effective when it has these elements from horror and with science fiction. So.
Well, it's not something my parents would have let me watch when they came out, because my parents did not let me watch R-rated movies at all, unless they were not if they were not home and I could convince my little sister to let me watch something. And yeah, Aliens was never on my watch list either way. And my parents are not into horror movies at all. So even if they had come on television, the channel would have been changed right away. And really the only quote unquote classic horror movie I've seen is the original Friday the 13th. And by the time I saw that, it was pretty much a comedy.
So you're saying to us the whole, I don't know, embryo and being impregnated by a really nasty alien and then have all the visuals effects of all that is probably something your parents didn't want you to watch as a child?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, fair enough.
Hell no.
Because the aliens, like some of these scenes are just completely and utterly gross. It's just so, I don't know, barbaric. I can't even think of a word. It's just so vehemently real, livid. Vivid, that's what I'm looking for, vivid. And it's just, wow.
Well, the creators of the first Alien said that they intentionally made the alien and his life cycle to be playing on male fears of rape and homosexuality because the alien is very phallically shaped and it forces something into your mouth and lays a seed in your mouth and then you're forced to give birth. So it's all kind of very, supposed to be psychologically unnerving for men. It's supposed to be the opposite of a traditional horror movie, which would be about a woman being assaulted or raped. Is here. It's supposed to be a man suffering the same thing.
Oh, wow.
That is so Geiger.
Yeah, it's so Geiger.
Yeah, Geiger's drawings are so creepy looking, and there's so much sexual imagery in them, and like I don't know, like rib cages, and it's very creepy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, and like the entry, to the Juggernaut spaceship where the space jockey is in the first one is very sexual in the creation of the spaceship itself. He is just a very interesting man, and definitely, in interviews he expressed that he said, he would always say, like, I have these images in my mind and I just need to get them out, and this is what is in my head. I'm like, I want to take what you're taking, but I can't draw. I'll be all stick figures. So
yeah. Now, if you guys haven't actually seen this film, a documentary on H.R. Giger that came out in 2014. It's called Dark Star. H.R. I think it's pronounced Giger. It's not Geiger. I think it's Giger's World.
I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah. I had to actually find that out before I start recording on YouTube.
Damn Swiss.
Yeah, I know. It's Swiss
German.
Swiss German. It's just it's a funny. They talk funny German there apparently. So.
I don't think.
Yeah, send all your hate mail too. No. Yeah. Okay. But it's a great documentary, and it just goes to his life and how they filmed it a year before his death. So he just comes off as this very sick, creepy yet genius artist. And it takes most of it takes place in his house. And
brilliant sculptor too.
Oh yeah, definitely. And
I think he did all the miniatures for the Alien movie. Oh
wow, yeah. Apparently, there's a bar which is an Alien theme, which he did all the interior design work somewhere in Switzerland.
Yeah, it's the H.R. Giger Museum in Switzerland, and if you Google his museum. You can like sit in like space jockey chairs while you're enjoying whatever they like drinking in Switzerland. So
yes,
so like some multi-chocolate beer wine thing.
I've only been to Basel, Switzerland, and that's like 25 years ago. I may have to go back. Just saying.
I'm going to take the old Mrs. Lemke to Europe, and that is definitely on my list of places. I've done Germany and Italy enough, so it's time to try some other places.
Yeah. And of course, going back to the Alien franchise, we have all this, sexual, gender-based imagery going on. But we also have a very strong female lead, don't we? Of course, I'm talking about the Alien Queen.
The female of all time.
Was I supposed to be rooting for her the whole time?
Absolutely.
No, you're supposed to be rooting for Lambert.
Without consciousness, conscious and morality, unhindered, I think, what Ash said in his final scenes.
Yeah, who thought Bilbo Baggins was an evil synthetic?
Exactly.
Clearly, you have not seen From Hell.
No.
Because I'm guessing you're talking about Ian Holm.
Yeah,
Ian Holm was in. Yeah. Ian Holm turned out to be Jack the Ripper in From Hell, which was creepy, and it was a good thing I had watched that after I'd seen Lord of the Rings.
Interesting.
You don't
Yeah,
watch
so-
horror
so-
movies, but you saw From Hell about Jack the Ripper.
I have a strange fascination with Jack the Ripper. Okay.
Hey, Carrie, if you ever want to, on a side note, make sure you watch the Patricia Cornwell special on Jack the Ripper if you have not seen it already.
I will have to check that out at some point.
There's also an animated Batman movie, Gotham by Gaslight, that's
Yeah,
about
just-
a Victorian
yeah.
Batman.
Yep, I watched that recently, actually, on the DC Universe streaming service. Yes, that was fun. It was an interesting twist on Jack the Ripper.
Wow. Like the
But
cutting
that's
edge.
not what we're talking about. Is
No.
it? Sorry.
Okay, let's start off with the first one. Let's start off with Alien, 1979, Ridley Scott, starring Sigourney Weaver as Ellen Ripley. Ellen Ripley. I can't say it. I am saying it funny. Guys, help me out
Ripley.
here. Thank you. Okay.
Ellen Ripley.
Ripley.
Yeah, so this is 1979. I would have been like 5 years old or 4 years old when this came out.
I would have
And,
been 2.
yeah.
I would have been -2.
Just thought.
So this is the granddaddy of the Alien film franchise, and I think it did extremely well for being a movie from the 1970s. What do you guys think?
I think it holds up amazingly well because you can watch this today and it looks incredibly realistic even by today's standards. There's very little about it that looks fake or old or 70s. I mean, the Nostromo really does look like a spaceship, and when they go down on the planet, that looks real. When they go inside the space jockey ruin, I mean, it all looks incredibly good, and the alien suit itself looks really good.
And Mark, what's your take on it?
I think it is a masterpiece. Just what it took to get this movie made. And I mean, it's been a while since I watched a documentary on how they came up with Alien and how they recruited Geiger and all that stuff. But it's also fascinating. But I agree with Derek. I mean, it's like all the best people in the industry somehow got together to make this movie in 1979. And the spaceship looks real. Going, like he said, going down to LV-426 looks real. The plastic rubber black suit dripping in KY jelly looks great. And, and it kind of was a blessing in disguise that they couldn't get the suit to work very well. So they decided the alien had to be in the movie less, which in my opinion, I don't know if you guys agree, but that since you actually don't see the alien all that much in the movie, makes it even more terrifying.
Just like with Jaws.
Yeah,
They couldn't
no,
get
yeah,
the shark
less is
to
more.
work, so
Yeah, complete advocate is less is more. Minimalist.
Yeah, it's like The Walking Dead season 2 when they didn't have money to spend on zombies, so they actually had to focus on characters. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can still make a character-driven, drama thriller without the main antagonist in it. So yeah, I agree. But I think it was just one of those movies. It's like Nietzsche's Übermenches. It changed the course of movies.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah.
Nothing was the same after that. You just it changed horror and what you can do with horror movies, and you can also make horror movies that, in my opinion, can win Oscars and compete with the rest of them.
And I'm not sure about this, but I wonder did that start the trend of having a horror movie where the girl ends up being the final survivor and winning the day, or did they do that before that?
There's actually a really interesting podcast called about Halloween, and it seemed that started with the Michael.
Oh, Halloween, yeah.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, there is a key element to the first movie, Alien, that most people overlook, which I think makes the movie. And of course, I'm talking about the cat. Who survived as well. So
I'm pretty sure the cat's the only one that survived any movie.
Okay.
All of them.
And as an aside, there's a short story out there. It's part of a book now, so it's kind of hard to find on the internet, but it was on the internet at some point, about the cat's perspective during the first Alien movie. It's written by Ann Bilson, and the book is now entitled Cats on Film. I've heard it read before, and it's funny as hell because you don't realize it's the movie Alien until maybe 2/3 into the short story.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
So, I think we need more cats in film.
I'm sure there was a cat in Jurassic World somewhere.
Yeah. And of course, there's a dog in Alien 3, which didn't really, the dog didn't survive, unfortunately. But that's as an aside. Well, what about Alien 2 from 1986, directed by this Canadian fellow, James Cameron?
I hear it has the makings of a Hallmark movie.
No, this is...
No, seriously. That someone posted this on Twitter. Aliens is basically a Hallmark Christmas movie. A woman with a job that consumes her life journeys to a small, isolated town. There, she meets a rustic but caring single guy and a young girl looking for a mother figure. By the end of the movie, they've formed a family unit.
Oh, that
sounds like a Hallmark movie, Christmas movie to me, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Terry, I think you're gonna have to hang up now.
You know,
All right.
Go ahead,
Talk
Mark.
about the best title for a sequel movie ever.
Yeah, that's true. Just add an S, and yeah, it just makes it.
Yeah, I mean, like I was only one when this movie came out, so I unfortunately I didn't get to like live with the excitement. But I mean, I just wonder like if you really loved Alien, and then in '86 you find out the next movie is just called Aliens.
There's 2 this time.
Yeah, there's at least at minimum 2, hopefully 3. That just like where are they gonna take this movie, and and also if anybody out there who at the time had like Terminator a lot, here comes this guy coming in to do an Alien movie. Let's go for it. And then they did a great job casting and bringing in slimy corporate jerkface Burke. Paul Reiser, who was great in this movie, and Bill Paxton as Hudson, and my favorite actor Michael Biehn as Hicks, and he coming in from Terminator playing I forgot what his name was, John Connor. And,
Kyle Reese.
Kyle Reese, thank you. Yes, my Terminator canon's not very good. So,
Well, and Michael Biehn's pretty much been in every James Cameron movie ever. So I mean, it's hard. It's understandable that you could get them confused in a way.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He
Aliens to me is one of
Seal in Abyss. Yep.
Too
bad he wasn't in Titanic.
No, but I if I remember correctly, I think he might have had a bit part in Avatar. But I could be wrong.
No, I don't think so.
Derek, you're saying something?
Aliens to me is one of the all-time greatest classic action movies, and along with Terminator 2, which was also by James Cameron. It's just one of the greatest sequels ever made because it built on the original in such a wonderful way. It didn't take anything away from the first one, but it expanded the world in a logical way. We went from one alien to an army of aliens, and we went from a small, scared freighter crew to a group of Marines, but it was never done as like a cash-in. There actually was like a story reason for it, and it expanded Ripley's character in a great way, and it gave her a lot more to do than in the first one. And it just upped the action and the story and plot quotient in so many ways. It expanded the world without contradicting anything that came in the first one. And it created so many action movie cliches that we now just see all the time. I mean, the Colonial Marines in this movie, you basically see them reproduced over and over in any kind of sci-fi movie or action movie or even war movie nowadays. He created the template that everyone has been copying for the last 30 years.
Yeah, I think the movie is very different in its feeling, like it's in its feel than the first one. Because you're right, there's definitely this war genre thing going on in Aliens, and you have the Colonial Marines, and some of them are naive, some of them are not the best led, and of course they're in the shit now, and things go bad, and that's to me is like wow, that's powerful like storytelling stuff right there.
And also the introduction of the alien queen, I thought, especially when I was a little kid, I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world because, you start out with the regular aliens and then there's like a boss character at the end of it. It's like a video game almost. I just thought that was the neatest thing in the world. Like, oh my God, there's a bigger version of them. And also it explains the biology of the aliens and where they came from.
Absolutely. And I just kind of like that the movie almost has like a fourth act to it, when she comes out of the dropship at the very end.
Yeah, the false ending.
The false ending. Yeah, absolutely. You could do a whole show on that.
Yeah.
Derek, you really described the importance of that movie in quite a beautiful way. It is just simply, like you said, a classic action film and, an amazing sequel movie. But I forgot my train of thought. But
it happens. It's a bar.
Have another drink. You'll either remember or you'll feel better at least.
I will eventually remember my input, but as of right now, I'm drawing a blank on aliens.
You'll remember when we hang up. That's the way it works.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. Just email me 15 minutes later. Yeah.
Oh, and the other great thing about the movie is Ripley's relationship with Newt. I thought it was very well done, that you really do feel for the two of them. And I hope everyone has seen, well, obviously Carrie hasn't, but I hope everyone has seen the special edition of Aliens, which is about 20 minutes longer, and it is just a completely different movie. It is far better. James Cameron always does these special editions that just completely impact and change it. It's like the extended editions of Lord of the Rings. It completely changes the story for the better, because the theatrical cut never mentions the fact that Ripley had a daughter and she died, and that her entire relationship with Newt is a substitute for her daughter, who she just learned died of old age while she was lost in cryostasis.
Yeah,
and that just adds a whole new level to their relationship.
Yeah,
before it was just like, oh, here's a girl, I'm gonna take care of her. There was no deeper meaning to it.
Yeah, and that scene where she's like in that artificial garden where she finds out that her daughter had died. I just feel like that and those automatic guns that they put in the tunnels was pretty great.
Oh yeah, they cut that too. That's right. That was that's another great scene.
I totally agree that the extended versions are just awesome. Just like in the original Alien, where you actually find Tom Selleck, his character, glued to the wall for a potential.
It's not Tom Selleck.
What is it, Tom?
I forget the actor's name. Tom. Crap.
Oh, this is gonna bother me now. He's one of the. He was Viper in Top Gun.
Michael Ironside.
Tom Skerritt.
Tom Skerritt. Yeah. We need Michael Ironside in the Aliens. He's due his chance.
Yeah, so I'm still caught up with Tom.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, Tom Selleck.
I probably still won't see it, but that would be amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these extended versions are great. And then I don't know if you guys ever played the game Alien Isolation.
No, I've heard of it.
It's terrifying and it's amazing. And you actually play as Ripley's daughter. And it's actually Alien canon is official. There's a comic coming out in January that builds off of this Alien series called Alien Defiance, which is actually phenomenal. It's the best Alien comic to come out from Dark Horse, in my opinion. And that is actually uncreepy and unnerving in it. And in the game Alien Isolation, you play as Amanda Ripley, and she joins a space crew to kind of find out what happened to her mom. And then she finds out that the Nostromo, I'm saying the spaceship's name's wrong, but it's Black Box. Nostromo. Yeah. That it's black boxes on this Sigzin space station, which is actually which is fun in the Alien lore, which is a company competing with Weyland Yutani, and you're playing the game and you get to the space station and it's orbiting Saturn, and you get there and it's just an absolute chaos. Like the space station's falling apart, and there's a bunch of debris in space, and you get on there and you're dealing with this one big alien on the spaceship, and then it's like a horror survival, and it's pretty interesting, and kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger what happens to Amanda Ripley. But it's pretty cool that there's an official story out there about Amanda Ripley trying to find out what happened to her mother.
That's really cool.
I think I also just saw that Keith DeCandido is writing a novelization of that video game, and that's coming out early next year.
I will read it. I'm actually reading Alien Cold Forage right now. So it's pretty interesting story in the alien canon sphere.
I recently read an anthology called Aliens Bug Hunt. It was a series of short stories about colonial marines in the alien verse. One of them was by Keith DeCandido. That's how I got to it. And it was pretty good. I mean, like any anthology, there's good stories and bad stories, but I thought it was more good than bad.
Yeah, no, I saw that at Barnes and Noble. I have to pick it up, and there's actually like an alien book series, like The River of Pain or something, and it's about Ellen Ripley, and she actually wakes up a couple times while she's in her sleep and has to deal with the aliens again. And it's pretty interesting if anybody ever wants to read it or needs some more Ellen Ripley in their life. So
I know there was a book series that came out in the 90s, and I actually just recently bought them at a bookstore, but I haven't read them yet. It was like a 6-book series. I think it was called Hive War.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a novelization of the comic book series that came out from Dark Horse. So with like Wilkes, but I think in the books they change it from Wilkes and whatever back to Hicks and Newt. So
this is amazing. I can't believe we're talking about the Alien series and franchise, and this is our Christmas episode, so to speak. What great time!
It's a Christmas movie. I would like to see what a xenomorph would look like if a facehugger got on Santa or an elf, and how the DNA would mix with like a reindeer and an elf and Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus.
Wow. That's slightly disturbing.
That's its own specific genre. Okay.
Hey, I might do an Indiegogo and get that crowdfunded.
Yeah. Why not? Ooh, wow. So let's turn this to more about Jesus Christ thing and go to Aliens 3. When she, of course, Ripley saves everyone by jumping into the molten pits, and with her arms stretched across like a Jesus Christ cross thing. So, what do you guys think of the Alien?
It's something that David Fincher did in a Paul Abdul video back in the day.
Yeah, it's a cliche. It's always been used as just when anything to do with self-sacrifice, may as well put a Christianity's twist on it.
Absolutely.
I don't know. What do you guys think of Aliens 3? Personally, I love the first two. Aliens 3, I'm not a big fan of, or any of the others, besides the new ones, the prequels.
Aliens 3 is my least favorite of the first four. I mean, David Fincher definitely made a gorgeous-looking movie, but I just really don't like the story. I can't stand that they killed off Hicks and Newt off screen. It's just, I don't know, it's just too dark, and I don't like the fact that it's in a prison, and yeah, it's not my cup of tea, but I admire the artistry of it.
Yeah, and there was a lot of sexual, violence in that movie, right? Where Ripley almost got raped by 4 prisoners and all this, and I don't like sexual violence in my movies, in my entertainment. But that's just me.
I remember there being a big uproar about the marketing campaign because they were using the bitches back pretty publicly in a couple of places.
Oof. Yeah.
Is that supposed to refer to Ripley or the alien?
I think it's supposed to refer to the alien, but it maybe could have referred to both.
Because the alien drones are asexual or non-sexual, or I suppose the queen is technically female.
The queen, yeah.
I think the alien queen is the only gendered xenomorph out there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure. Only because they call it a queen and it lays eggs. So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And of course, there's the next one from 1997, Alien Resurrection.
Wait, what did Mark think of Alien 3?
I have learned to enjoy it, or forced myself to enjoy it over time. I really like the cast. And funny enough is that like the first teaser of Alien 3 was like test footage of like boots and utes on the ground running, that like the original movie was going to be about that the aliens actually get back to Earth and Weyland Yutani being much more involved in the movie than previously understood, and that, then there's like some conspiracy theories that the synthetic bishop, which, Lance Henriksen, or whatever his name is, is actually a real person who's trying to manipulate Ripley by making a synthetic of himself, and that's not. Yeah, and there's just some really interesting, like, deep dive conspiracy theories and what the company is actually trying to do with Ripley in the third movie, but that, David Fincher, like, changed the movie in the 11th hour and kind of ended up this movie kind of being made of like a survival horror, almost like in the first movie on a prison planet, just because it's all they could do with their budget and a time constraint. And then now you have that William Gibson unused script comic coming out from Dark Horse, and it's a drastically different movie. And then I also agreed that I hated that they killed off Newt and Hicks. But funny enough, from what I understand, is that Michael Bean did not come back because they didn't want to pay his salary. But then they used his face without permission, almost like Crispin Glover from Back to the Future Part 2. Wow. They couldn't get the actor back because they wouldn't pay his salary, but then they used his image without permission, and then they ended up having to pay him money anyway. So you might as well just pay the guy to come back and kind of, I thought Alien 3 would have been drastically better. Like, I could have been okay with Newt not being in it, but I definitely feel, because she would have been considerably older unless they like recasted her. But I thought it would have been a much more interesting movie if they had kept Hicks in it. But the movie has definitely aged a lot better for me, and I kind of wish there was more of a Weyland Yutani and what's their long game kind of aspect to it.
Yeah, I just can't stand the fact that Ripley goes through all that shit to save Newt at the end of the second movie, and then 5 minutes later of movie time, she's dead. It's just, she went through all that for nothing.
Yeah, and that's definitely like seems like a movie studio and an ambivalent actress in Sigourney Weaver. There's like just seemed like there was no commitment to furthering this franchise. So, well,
I mean, did they have to pay Sigourney Weaver extra to shave her head? So, I mean, that was part of the. I guess depending on how much of a bonus they had to give her to do that, maybe they didn't have enough money for casting. I don't know.
Well, the other thing that they lost money on was they had such a torturous development history. They already started building sets for the movie version that they didn't make, because at one point it was going to take place on this like wooden planet, and it was going to be like in a wooden city with these monks living in like I don't know if it's supposed to be like a fort or something, but it was basically a city made completely out of wood. And they actually started to build this before they changed their mind and, got rid of it.
Wow.
Yeah. If you watch the documentary on the making of Alien 3 on that Alien anthology or quadrilogy special, they didn't know if the movie was going to get made in the last minute. It's just like what Derek said, it was a hot mess. It was a hot fucking mess.
Wow. Talking about a hot fucking mess, let's go on to Alien Resurrection 1997.
Hey, I like it. I mean, I don't love it, but I like it.
And of course, who was the writer on this one?
Joss Whedon.
Yes. Who basically disowned this movie.
That was the other reason I was ever remotely interested in the movie. It was like it's a Joss movie.
And it basically created the Firefly cast and storyline before he came up with Firefly, because the crew of mercenaries that are in the story, they're basically Mal and the crew from Firefly.
Oh, wow.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are definitely a bunch of space pirates. But I've never seen Firefly, so I can't really talk to that.
Okay.
Oh. Breathe, Carrie. Breathe.
I'm breathing. It's hard, but yeah, that's the cold, not Mark.
I can own it. I can only consume so much.
That is true.
I think Resurrection is a much better sequel than Alien 3. I mean, again, it's nowhere near as good as the first two. Those two are just perennial classics, but I thought it was a solid story. I mean, it was kind of obvious about, scientists are capturing and experimenting on aliens to use them as weapons. But I thought it looked visually gorgeous. The director was some French gentleman, I forget his name. But I thought the movie looked great, and it has some really amazing action sequences, like when they're swimming through water and they're being chased by swimming aliens. That was really cool. And there was a great use of color, as I remember, that everything just looked amazingly good in it. So the story was just all right. The only part of it that I really don't like is the massive corpse white alien hybrid at the end. It was just cool. Creepy and disturbing looking in a bad way. I couldn't stand that one. But aside from that, I think it's a decent movie.
The idea that you could make the xenomorph creepier by giving it flesh, that's just weird.
Yeah, and the bit when it
gets
and at the end it gets sucked out through a hole in the hull. So like basically a little pin drop in its back sucks out its entire body, and that's by far the most disgusting thing in any of the Alien movies, I think. And he's like screaming and howling the whole time, like.
And she's like,
yeah, I think that's the point. I think that's the point at which I flipped the channel. But,
it's making horrible sounds, and and then Ripley's like caressing its face.
I forget, did it actually say mommy, or am I imagining that?
There's definitely like mother-daughter weird ass vibes going on for sure. And and then she rips the queen's jaw off and everything. In that weird birthing chamber in the ship. It's bizarre. They're definitely going for some real, they're trying to definitely touch on some of those weird sexual, vibes and theatrics in the film and now that I think of it, it's pretty, in touch with what Geiger was trying to do, or what he was about, and kind of the flavor that you were getting in 1979 that maybe you could get away with. When did that movie come out? 1998, 97? 97. And and it just definitely had that weird sexual themes to it that were, now that I like I said, like I think of it as kind of in honor of what Aliens is kind of about. But let's not forget the best part of Alien Resurrection, Winona Ryder. I'm not gonna lie, I love Winona Ryder. I love her as an actress, and I think Heathers is one of the greatest movies ever. So I'm just putting that out there.
Nice.
I love Winona Ryder, and I'm proud to say that.
I think at one point in the story they were once again supposed to go to Earth in this one, and then once again changed it at the last second. I think there might even be like an early poster showing like the ship crashing to Earth or something like that, or like this time it's on Earth.
Yeah, they're supposed to crash the ship into Earth.
Do you think executives at Fox were like, we can never afford the budget to put aliens on Earth, so we're just going to scrap it?
Yeah, probably.
That's my new running theory that I came up with within the last 3 seconds.
Wow. But let's fast forward, 15 years when we get into the two newer ones, Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Yes, sorry, speech impediment issue. Both by Ridley Scott. And in many ways, it continues with the whole alien thing, but it also expands the mythology and the origin and asks bigger questions than just survival. What's your take on it, guys?
Wasn't Prometheus like a red herring? Like they didn't admit to that being a prequel to Aliens until much later?
They were evasive about it. Well, they were evasive about whether or not a xenomorph was actually in the movie. They said upfront that it was in the Aliens universe, but they would not admit whether or not an alien was in it.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember when this movie was coming out back in June of 2012, because it's the first movie in the Alien universe that it came out that I could go and see in the theaters and at the time. And just remember, I enjoyed the 3D. I don't like 3D movies, but this was really special. And what they did in the movie was really special in 3D. But I remember at the time, like reading all the articles that were coming out, and in the trailers there were some imagery to the original xenomorph in those chambers that are pretty, that you can definitely identify with your eyes. So, that really was tying Prometheus to the alien universe. But like when they go into that chamber with all the vases, and they shift and the walls are like changing, like it's changing shape because it's interacting with the atmosphere, and you can see a very clear original looking xenomorph, which then tells me that they were experimenting on the engineer people, and that, we share the human. I don't know. It's complicated, and there's like story plots because the deacon comes from an engineer, but then they have an original looking xenomorph in the movie. So I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, that was a very controversial movie with fans. Some people really loved it. Some people really hated it. I myself loved it. I really thought it was interesting how they expanded on the mystery of the space jockeys, which to me was the most interesting thing left unexplained in the Aliens universe. Because, I mean, as good as these movies are, ultimately it's just shooting bugs, and that can only be so interesting from, a plot level. So to actually delve into the mysteries of who created life, who created the aliens, what was that space jockey ruin that they found in the first movie, to me that was way more interesting than just doing a fifth Aliens movie. So I really loved Prometheus. I thought it was really well done. It had gorgeous imagery. I thought the character of David the android was absolutely fascinating, the way he was manipulated and whether or not he was good or bad. And I thought it was great. I won't talk about Covenant yet, but some people hated it. I thought it was great. A lot of people complained about how stupid the characters acted, but I think they kind of neglected the fact that the scientists they picked were intentionally bad scientists. Like, he only picked these crazy crackpot fringe people as a cover story for sending the ship there. So those two dumbass pot-smoking scientists who play with the eel thing, I mean, he was not picking the best and brightest. He was picking any idiots who would go along on this crazy theory that nobody believed in.
I completely agree with that, Derek, because, the fact that you had, what's his name? Is it Peter Weyland?
Yeah, Peter Weyland was Guy Pearce's character.
Yeah. The only reason they're going out there is for him to meet the engineer, or in the hope of meeting an engineer. So I completely agree with your assessment that the scientists were all stupid except for Shaw. But you could make an argument that she was not the best character either. And I agree that the best two characters in the whole movie were Michael Fassbender as David and whoever, I forgot what Idris Elba's character was named, but
I don't remember.
Yeah,
he's good and everything.
Yeah, but like they're the only two, I like Rumi Rapace, and I liked her from the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo movies and everything, but I really loved it. I really loved the mystery and the building up to it, and I could get over the not so smart scientists. I think they could have done a better job of alluding to that, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that was the thing about that movie. They didn't come out and explain things. They left things vague because it was from Damon Lindelof, the writer of Lost, who loves to be, cryptic and weird.
Yeah. Did you hear what the original title of this movie was?
What?
Alien Engineers. So there was like a whole argument about whether or not they were being too on the nose with the movie and then change it to Prometheus. And then I think the fact they went from Alien Engineers to Prometheus just was a sign that they were going to leave things loose and unfinished or unexplained. And there's like a question right there's like, in our movie culture today, can you get away without explaining everything?
Yeah.
And having people be satisfied with it.
And that movie left me with such a fascinating mystery. Well, I mean, they raised it at the beginning and then they didn't properly answer it. But why did the engineers create life on Earth and then later decide to destroy it? What changed? That was such a fascinating mystery. And at the end of that movie, I was so jazzed for the sequel because Shaw and David were going to go to the engineer homeworld and they were going to meet the engineers and we were going to find out why they changed their minds about humanity. It set up such an amazing sequel that unfortunately did not happen, but we'll get into that in a second.
The one theory that I heard was like based off of the timestamp of that video, the hologram of the two engineers running through the hallway, that maybe Jesus was an engineer and we killed him. And that's
yes, that was what Ridley Scott said in an interview. He said that his personal take at the time of Prometheus, this was before Covenant, was that the engineers sent someone to Earth to, check in on them, and then that was Jesus Christ, and they killed him. So then they decided, well, fuck these guys, we're gonna kill them all now.
I mean, I still think it's a pretty good idea anyway. So hopefully, Blue Jesus comes back and.
God, this is fascinating.
That's very Nietzsche-esque there.
It is, and
it's like because his madman in the gay science is talking about how God is dead and we killed him.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I mean that's kind of the same principle, isn't it?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But I think Nietzsche was saying God is dead because we don't need him any longer because we can think for ourselves.
No. What the madman was saying in the gay science was God is dead and we killed him because if Jesus was the embodiment of God on earth, then God was mortal, and we killed him. So we killed him physically. We killed him spiritually because the Christians don't follow the teachings of Jesus. And there was one other point to it, but okay. I mean, he said in other books, the only actual Christian was Jesus, because the only person who could follow that life, apparently, the life that Jesus talked about, was apparently him.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, all of Nietzsche is fascinating, and I definitely agree. You can find sprinklings of it in Prometheus, at least, for sure.
Oh, and before we move on, I got to mention the most disturbing, gut-wrenching scene in possibly any movie. It's when Shaw straps herself into the medical bed to get an abortion, and she's like strapped down in the bed, trapped in this glass tube, and the machine cuts her open just as the alien is about to be born, and then it's taking it out, and then it bursts out of the sack while she's still trapped in there, and she's got to like stay still down there as it sutures her back up while the alien is just hovering like inches above her face, and then she's still trapped in the glass tube. I was squirming in my seat so much for that scene.
There's a reason why I watch cooking shows and Downton Abbey. And
Yeah, you guys are making very convincing arguments to me about why I should be watching any of these. I mean, this is like really disturbing shit.
Well, it's like riding a roller coaster. It's a controlled thrill for you.
Let me put it this way, and this be way too much information, but I was there when my wife and I's twins were born, and they were C-section, and the Prometheus was more disturbing than that.
Oh wow!
Wow!
I mean, just like SA.
Yeah,
I agree, Derek.
Well, you probably weren't worried about the babies breaking loose and trying to kill you.
Well, they are now. So the growth period is just 19 months behind the movies. So
that's great. Well, let's move on to the last one from 2017, Alien Covenant. Derek, it seems like you have some strong opinions on this movie. Tell us.
I was so disappointed with this movie because I loved Prometheus and I loved the way it ended, and I was so excited to see Shaw and David go to the engineer homeworld and meet the living engineers and find out why they decided to destroy humanity. And they didn't do any of that. They just made another alien clone story, and they changed David from being a fascinating, morally ambiguous character to being this deranged madman who vivisected Elizabeth while she was alive. And it was, and we didn't, and they show up on this planet and they just kill the engineers without even talking to them. We never find out jack shit about them. They're just all dead now. It just, everything that Prometheus promised was destroyed off screen, just like the way Aliens 3 killed Newt and Hicks. It just ruins everything I was looking forward to in the movie, and it just leaves you with this bland, by the numbers Aliens knockoff.
Hey, Derek, you can be honest with us. Tell us what you really think.
I mean, I enjoyed the movie for what it was, but there was an infinitely better version of that movie that should have been made.
Derek, I agree with you, dude. And I have like a special ability to force myself to like things. I went and saw this movie. Came out like 3 days after my twins were born, and my wife, she was like, "I want you to go see it." And so because I had already bought the tickets because the movie was supposed to come out. They were supposed to be born after the movie, but they came like 5 days earlier or something. So I went and saw the movie. So I was like literally exhausted. And I just remember kind of watching the movie and just kind of like, I'm not throwing any shade, but the same experience I had with like Suicide Squad and Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I just remember like during the movie just being like, this isn't doing it for me, and something inherently is missing. And and from reading enough about movies and listening to enough podcasts about movies, that something really changed in production. Something happened. There's stories out there where Ridley Scott was not the biggest fan of Noomi Rapace as an actress, and I remember he gave her like a hard time about her ability to speak English, and there's some interesting stories of Ridley Scott not being the biggest fan of her, and so I'm not surprised that Shaw did not come back and was not the focal point of Alien Covenant, and just kind of how stupid the colonists were, and there were some very visually beautiful things, like the backburster neomorph was awesome, and I like Danny McBride a lot, and I enjoyed his character in the movie, but I find engineers to be a fascinating entity thing to know and understand, and then David just dropping all the vibes annoyed me, and I definitely feel the movie could have been a lot more. And I do feel the Red Band trailers that came out at Christmas time of 2016, because the movie came out in 2017. No, was it 2015?
2017, I think.
It was 2017. So the Red Band trailer showed like the scariest part. The best part of the movie was the shower scene. So
yeah. You just reminded me. Speaking of people being stupid, it's when the mission commander, he knows David is evil and killed someone, and David leads him down into a basement where there's an alien egg, and he walks right up to the fucking alien egg and looks over in it. It's like, how fucking stupid do you have to be? Because like I can explain
too much faith.
Yeah, I can explain the idiocy in Prometheus, but that one just made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, no, and your explanation of the idiots in Prometheus actually makes sense, like in a story wise. This way, no, it was pretty dumb.
Because he already knew that David was evil. So why would you trust him? And like, oh, look, here's an alien egg. You already know that the aliens are bad.
Yeah, I'm not going to make the argument they had nostalgic love of Walter and got confused. But I had a thought that came to my mind that, David vivisected, am I saying that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Elizabeth Shaw. Do you think he used her? I know she was sterile in Prometheus, but do you think he used her eggs to make the alien eggs for the facehuggers?
That was the implication in the story, that that David created the modern day xenomorph that we see in the old movies, and that he used it from Elizabeth.
Yeah,
and that's why he
needed
to like lure more humans, because he needed more human test subjects, because he used her up.
Yep.
Oh, and the story that I heard about why they changed the movie so much was that because Prometheus underperformed at the box office, it was successful, but it wasn't massively successful. The studio basically forced Ridley Scott to go back to the well and just make a generic aliens movie, rather than actually exploring the engineer mystery and doing a true sequel to Prometheus.
Yeah, and I heard that like that's why you kind of rushed the colonist things to get to the David parts of it. So it's like you got this like half and half of a movie, like
serving neither.
yeah, and then therefore the movie was split and never really touched on anything.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that movie so much that summer. I mean, it's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination, but oh man, it was not what I was wanting.
Yeah, maybe we'll get the Blade Runner 6 variations versions of it, like in 15 years.
That's precious. That's great.
And I liked Elizabeth Shaw. I thought she was a cool character and a cool actress.
I liked Shaw, and I thought she was good, and I like Numi Rapace from Rapace or whatever, Swedish people. I don't know. I thought Shaw was a good character, so absolutely. And there, I forgot what her name is. Something Weatherstone from the Fantastic Beasts movies. She just wasn't compelling enough for me.
Oh, I liked her in it, but I mean, like her character wasn't the greatest, but I've liked her in everything I've seen in her. And
I do like when he says that thing to her about the cabin at the end. That was pretty unnerving.
Oh yeah, he gives the game away just as she's getting locked away in the cryostasis.
Yeah, that
was cool. Yeah.
That was pretty. I was like, oh shit. So, yeah.
I mean, I knew from the get-go that was really David. I mean, like, it was so obvious that, they swapped, but
yeah, I mean, just going back to like the opening scene of Covenant where he's talking with Wayland, and I want to know why David was able to do what he was able to do when he wasn't supposed to do it. What is special about David, And because I know Ash was able to hurt people, Walter wasn't, Bishop wasn't, but
David was the first.
Yeah, what made him able to create was what I find very interesting about David, and I am a big fan of Michael Fassbender and think he's a really great actor, except for The Counselor. That's a horrible movie. I just think there's a lot more to learn about David, and with Disney buying Fox, it's just the Alien franchise, in my opinion, is in some unsteady ground right now.
Well, Ridley Scott did say at the time of Covenant that he had planned to make like 5 more of them and that it would kind of follow David's story. However, Covenant ended up doing about, I think it was like half the money that Prometheus did, and Prometheus was already a disappointment. So I don't know if they're doing anything at this point in time.
I think there's talk about it. So there's talk, but they haven't actually made it official.
Yeah, it's actually called Alien Awakenings, and what I've heard from it is that the engineers come to find David because they're royally pissed about the whole planet.
That could be good. That could kind of like salvage what they did in Covenant by undoing it.
Well, think about it. He has that whole spaceship full of colonists, and he can make a couple hundred or maybe a couple thousand xenomorphs.
Yeah.
Or I don't know how many, or, how many queens does he get out of that? And does he spread the queens across the galaxy?
Wow. So it's like a new version of Tu Wong Fu?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Wow.
Wrong.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, the thing is, like, they set it up. Like, I'm sure you can get queens, and I've read it's too complicated because I read when I'm going to bed, and I forget half the shit I read at night, anyways. But it's like in certain circumstances you can get a guaranteed queen. In certain circumstances, like if like the drones are down to a certain level, the next hatchling will be a queen. So I guess with all those colonists on the ship, you definitely get some queens, and you could definitely spread them around the galaxy. I do think there's still stories to be told.
I just can't wait until they build.
This is like a beehive on a grand scale.
Yeah, some scary ass bees.
Or actually, the other thing I came to mind is Anne McCaffrey's Dragon series. Why can't I think of the name right now? Cold Meds are awesome. The Anne McCaffrey's Pern series. Yeah, but those are good queens. The dragons are good queens.
Listen, I just can't wait until Disney builds Alien Land at Disney World and Disneyland.
I go to it.
There actually was an alien ride at Magic Kingdom for a while.
Really?
Yeah, it was called Alien Encounter, and it was deemed to be too terrifying, so they ripped it out and replaced it with Lilo and Stitch. So now instead of a xenomorph, it's Stitch menacing you.
So instead of a big terrifying alien, there's a cute and fuzzy alien.
Yep. And
Awesome.
they recently closed that ride, but it was in operation for a while.
Oh, that would be amazing. Dude, I'm telling you, they got to make the space station from Alien Isolation, and you get to roam around that thing, and oh my gosh, and have like a couple good actor people playing as Xenomorph. I'd be there in a heartbeat. But
Sounds more like a Universal haunted house.
yes, I've never been.
Sounds like
I've
that
never
could be a
been
pretty
to
creepy
Disney,
ass
so-
escape room type
I
thing.
mean, let's just all go in and make it ourselves. It seems like that America needs right now. So, or North America, excuse me.
Yeah.
We can put it in Toronto.
Okay. I lived in Toronto for a bit. I'm actually from that part of the province, so yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, there you go. Guys, what's your thought about this whole crossover with Predator? So we have
Sucks.
Alien
Yes.
versus Predator 2004 and Aliens versus Predator Requiem in 2007. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sucks ass.
I had seen I had got my hands. I used to work at a comic book store, so I got my hands on a couple of the comic book versions from before they made the movies, and I thought it was an interesting concept, having not seen either Alien or Predator at the time. By the way, for Randall, if you're listening, I have since corrected my Predator problem, and I have watched the first two movies.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I thought it was an interesting concept, but yeah, I wasn't planning on seeing either of the movies to begin with, so.
Yeah, they're just...
I don't hate them. I mean, they're all right. I mean, well, let me put it this way. The first one, it's okay. And then the second one, it was just very generic. I mean, the only notable thing about it was that it took place on present-day Earth, because that's the first Alien movie to ever do that. But aside from that, it was just very blah. Yeah.
So we finally got the aliens to Earth, and it wasn't that great.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate them, but they're just kind of there for me. I certainly don't consider them to be part of the Aliens universe. They're kind of an asterisk on it.
I would have been down if the Alien vs. Predator series was about aliens colonizing the state of Florida and taking it over.
Aliens in Disneyland?
Yeah.
Disney World, actually.
For me, of all people, to make that mistake.
The movie could be about you, in Disney World.
I wasn't going to say anything, Derek, but since you're getting your geography wrong.
It would have been much better if it had taken place in the future, like all the Aliens movies do. But I think by putting it in the present, it just kind of made it, I don't know, somehow less than.
Well, I think there's two themes I just want to touch on briefly. First thing, what's up with everyone, the engineers, the corporations, everyone trying to use this new biological weapon for profit? I think that speaks to a lot about, a very jaded, cynical view of humanity. What do you guys think?
I think that was part of cinema at that time in the 80s. It was all about the evils of corporations.
The Reagan era, for sure.
Greed is good, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like the
Not
whole
that that's changed at all, but that's where it was kind of introduced into media.
Yeah, the whole entire idea, do you just sell out to make profit, like that, that more baby boomer feeling of survival in Alien, and then are you gonna sell out and be a scummy capitalist in Aliens with the Burke character, who really is your avatar for Weyland-Yutani and what they're about, that they have very little to no respect for people's autonomy and agency whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, we didn't really mention Burke, but he is also one of those classic, iconic, scummy corporate villains that, that was kind of created by that movie. He's such a classic scumbag that you see repeated ad nauseum in movies after that.
Yeah, the whole scene where he puts the face hugger in the room while they're sleeping and locks it and turns the video off. Classic.
Yeah, and of course, in his mind, nothing he's doing is wrong. He's just, doing what is good for the corporation and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, trying to climb the corporate ladder at Wayland.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. And my second thing I want to talk about briefly is artificial intelligence, androids. Are they good or are they bad? What do you guys weigh in?
Depends on which androids we're talking about here. If we're talking Data, that's he's okay. But if we have lore on our hands, then we have a problem.
Yeah, it's about agency. I like Marx used the word of agency and free will and how, it's artificial intelligence, it's artificial life, but it's still life and it's growing, it's evolving.
In the books and comics, synthetics have citizen status on Earth. So I think in the alien universe, synthetics are well respected and heavily utilized, but I think we have to see in our world that the sex robots in Amsterdam are going to kill us first.
Yeah, see, it goes back to greed. It goes back to whole, hedonism. I want biological weapons so I can make lots of money. Of course, it's like fire. If you lose control of the fire, you're going to get burned. So interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I just kind of, they never really talked about how they would utilize them or train them or domesticate them to be weapons and who they would be fighting to use it. But yeah, I definitely agree with you, Joel, that and I lost my train of thought again. But,
it's
well, I think in the lens of the first 4 movies, we start out with the bad one, but all the other ones that we meet are good and noble. So I think they're generally a positive view on synthetics there. But then if you go to the Prometheus movies, well, in the first one, I saw David as a victim personally. Like, I didn't think he was evil in the first one. He was just following his creator's orders. And then, of course, in the second one, they make him a mustache-twirling villain who's absolutely horrible. So
but
I guess that one...
if those are prequels, it kind of makes sense that we're progressing from the bad synthetics to the good synthetics in a way.
Yeah, like, because in Aliens, the limitations of Bishop are a direct correlation to what Ash tried to do in Alien. So
yeah, so neat. Anything else, guys, before we close the doors for this episode?
I got a great buzz going.
Nice. I think I'm almost over my hangover, so I may actually walk down the street and have a nice craft beer.
Oh, nice.
There you go. Yeah. Anything, Derek, from your side?
I think my Taco Bell is about ready to burst out.
Lovely. Let's move on quickly. Carrie, anything?
No, I think you guys have still not convinced me that these are movies I'm going to watch anytime soon. But it was a fun conversation.
It is.
Carrie, can I make an argument?
Sure.
Alien has a 99% tomato rating.
I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes.
Neither do. I'm a DC fan, so I'm supposed to hate it.
I mean, you are a DC fan. You know what they've done to the more recent DC movies. Although apparently Aquaman has a pretty high tomato meter rating right now.
It's like 76%.
I'm definitely a believer in James Wan. But what I'm going to say is that Alien, outside of that rating, and it deserves its rating because it is a modern day classic that is created by some of the most brightest and genius minds in the industry at that time and to this day.
I will take that under consideration.
I will pay you to watch it.
Ooh, that could be interesting.
I just need a 10-page thesis on why it's great, and then I'll pay you.
And a very long waiver to sign off.
I don't got time for that shit right now.
I think you'd really like it. If you liked Predator, then you're going to watch Alien and be like, "This is amazing."
Yeah, we can debate the merits of the sequels, but Alien and Aliens are 2 of the most influential, iconic movies ever made, and everyone should see them.
I wholeheartedly agree.
We'll see when I get around to maybe considering watching them again. Who knows? I've got a lot of homework to do for a different podcast at the moment. So
yeah, well, it happens. Carrie, what's your other podcast you're on?
Oh, I am on DC Talk, which is a podcast talking about the news of the DC Comics television and movie sphere. And then I'm also on a podcast called Cape Chronicles, which is going through all superhero movies ever, going back to 1979.
Wow!
Superman. We're just about we're just about to get out of the 20th century.
Wow, and that's
At
on
the moment.
That's on the Random Chatter Network.
Yep.
Okay, cool. But our own show, we have social media for the SciFi Pubcast. We have Twitter, which I do, and Instagram, which is more geared towards beer, food, anything bar, pub related, which is managed by myself. And then we have our very active Facebook page managed by our own Derek, which is focused on geek news. Hey, Derek, you're doing a good job on that, just to let you know.
Why, thank you.
There you go. Our Twitter address
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to tell me that. I'm very much aware. Okay. Our Twitter address for the show is at SciFi Pubcast. If you leave us an Apple Podcast review, because we lack lots of reviews, and let us know, I'll send you a sticker. Yes, I still have stickers from last year. What else is there? I can be found at Joel_Welch. Carrie, what's your Twitter address?
My Twitter handle is Carrie Blackfire42. That's Keri Blackfire42.
And Derek?
At Derek J. Beebe.
Right. And Mark, our very customer who showed up. Thank you so much. How can people find you?
Hey, I just gotta ask if I've been kicked out of the bar and if the bouncer will let me back in.
You can always come back in.
I think I could convince the Ewoks to let you back in.
Oh, okay.
I just have to feed them a couple of Derek's toes.
Well, I could definitely get behind that.
Yeah.
Because I'm just in general a massive sci-fi fan, and if you ever need anyone just to talk about stuff, let me know. But you can find me at Lemke, DERLENKE on Twitter, and I'm an avid Twitter user. So
yeah, please follow him. And Mark, it's this show's philosophy that we'll have anyone on, right? And we have more the merrier. And if that means there's less people talking, okay. If it means that the show goes on longer, so be it. I'm paying for it. I just want.
If I can set the bar low, so everyone else looks good going forward. It's just it's a hill I'm willing to die on.
Excellent. You're welcome back anytime. So this is a pub. This is how it works. So thanks again, Mark.
Absolutely.
And it's closing time. Please make it home safe. We'll see you next time. Bye.
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 Music provided courtesy of Logan Rathbone. Podcast logo by Drew. Copyrighted Joe Welch. Listen responsibly, and we can't wait for your next visit to our fine establishment. Cheers.